When you think of valuable coins, your mind might jump to ancient Roman artifacts or gold doubloons from sunken pirate ships. But what if I told you that some of the most sought-after treasures might be hiding in your spare change jar right now? Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of state quarter errors, specifically two coins that have sent collectors scrambling through their collections and have turned pocket change into small fortunes. I'm talking about the Delaware and Louisiana state quarters, two modern coins with extraordinary stories and exceptional value. Let's explore how these seemingly ordinary quarters became the crown jewels of contemporary American numismatics. Let's start with the Delaware state quarter. Released in 1999 as the very first coin in the United States Mint's 50 state quarters program, the Delaware quarter holds a special place in American numismatic history. The obverse maintains the familiar Washington portrait, but the reverse features a depiction of Caesar Rodney on horseback. For those unfamiliar with this historical figure, Caesar Rodney was a delegate from Delaware who made a dramatic overnight ride through a thunderstorm to Philadelphia in July 1776 to cast the deciding vote for American independence. This imagery wasn't just selected for dramatic effect, it symbolizes Delaware's crucial role as the first state to ratify the Constitution. What makes certain Delaware quarters extraordinarily valuable isn't just their status as firsts in the series, but rather specific minting errors that occurred during production. The most notable of these is the spitting horse variety. On these error coins, a raised die gouge appears near the horse's mouth, creating the illusion that Caesar Rodney's horse is spitting. It's a small imperfection that's easy to miss without careful examination, but to collectors, this tiny flaw transforms an ordinary 25-cent piece into a coin worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. The spitting horse error occurred during the early stages of production when the dies were being prepared. A die is essentially a negative image used to stamp the design onto blank metal discs. During the die preparation process, a small raised line was accidentally created on the master die. This imperfection was then transferred to all coins struck with that particular die before the error was discovered and corrected. Numismatists estimate that approximately 50,000 Delaware quarters with the spitting horse error entered circulation, a tiny fraction of the total 774.8 million Delaware quarters produced. What makes identifying these valuable quarters particularly challenging is that the error is relatively subtle. Unlike some coin errors that are immediately obvious, the spitting horse variety requires close inspection, preferably with a magnifying glass. Look specifically at the area directly in front of the horse's mouth. On error coins, you'll see a distinct raised line extending outward, resembling a stream of liquid. The line should be clearly defined and separate from the rest of the design. Current market values for the Delaware spitting horse quarter vary significantly based on condition. In circulated condition, these error coins typically sell for $100 to $200. However, specimens in mint state condition command much higher prices. A Delaware spitting horse quarter graded MS 65, mint state 65, might fetch $500 to $800. For the finest known examples, graded MS 67 or higher, prices can exceed $3,000. In 2019, a particularly pristine example graded MS 68 sold at auction for an astounding $7,200, not bad for a coin with a face value of 25 cents. But the value story doesn't end with the spitting horse variety. Another Delaware quarter error that has captured collectors' attention is the elusive, low-leaf variety. On these coins, an extra leaf appears on the horse's legs, positioned lower than it should be according to the original design. This variation is even rarer than the spitting horse, with estimates suggesting fewer than 10,000 entered circulation. Low-leaf Delaware quarters in uncirculated condition have sold for upwards of $1,500. Perhaps the most fascinating aspect of the Delaware quarter errors is their discovery story. The spitting horse variety wasn't identified until around 2005, a full 6 years after the coins were released into circulation. This delayed discovery created a unique situation where thousands of valuable error coins had already passed through countless hands unnoticed. Some lucky individuals who had set aside rolls of Delaware quarters when they were first released suddenly found themselves sitting on small treasures. There are even stories of bank tellers who, having learned about the error, quietly exchanged their own money for rolls of quarters, methodically searching through them during lunch breaks. The Delaware quarter holds another distinction that adds to its allure. It represents the starting point of what became a nationwide collecting phenomenon. The state quarters program reignited interest in coin collecting across America, introducing an entirely new generation to numismatics. Millions of collector boards were sold, and families across the country checked each new release against their collections. This cultural impact gives the Delaware quarter historical significance beyond its monetary value. For those wondering if they might own one of these valuable quarters, there's good news: these coins are still in circulation. Though the odds of finding one in your change are growing slimmer each year as collectors remove them, it's not impossible. Many collectors advise checking rolls of quarters from banks, particularly in areas where coin collecting isn't as popular. Rural areas sometimes yield better results as fewer people there might be actively searching for these varieties. It's worth noting that the Delaware quarter's status as the first in the state quarters program makes even regular, non-error specimens slightly more valuable than face value. Uncirculated regular Delaware quarters typically sell for $1 to $2 each, with proof versions, special editions made specifically for collectors, commanding $3 to $5. While this premium is modest, it reflects the coin's historical significance and popularity among collectors attempting to assemble complete sets of the state quarters. The legacy of the Delaware quarter extends beyond its monetary value. It represents an important moment in American numismatic history, the beginning of one of the most successful coin programs ever undertaken by the United States Mint. The state quarters program brought collecting to mainstream America, with the Delaware quarter leading the charge. An estimated 147 million Americans collected state quarters, making it the most collected coin series in U.S. history. For serious collectors, the hunt for high-grade Delaware quarter errors has become increasingly competitive. Professional coin grading services like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, have certified relatively few examples in grades above MS 67, making these top-tier specimens true prizes. The combination of rarity, historical significance, and the human interest story behind these error coins creates the perfect recipe for numismatic desirability. If you believe you found a Delaware spitting horse quarter, handle it carefully by the edges to avoid adding fingerprints or scratches. Consider having it authenticated by a reputable third-party grading service, especially if it appears to be in uncirculated condition. The modest cost of professional grading is well worth it for a coin that could potentially be worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. Even if your coin turns out to be a regular Delaware quarter, the experience of carefully examining your find is part of what makes coin collecting such an engaging hobby. Now let's shift our attention to another remarkable treasure that might be hiding in plain sight, the Louisiana State Quarter. Released in 2002 as the 18th coin in the 50 State Quarters program, this quarter celebrates Louisiana's unique heritage with a design that perfectly captures the state's essence. The reverse features a magnificent pelican, Louisiana's state bird, soaring over a stylized outline of the state, alongside a trumpet and musical notes representing the state's rich musical tradition, particularly New Orleans jazz. The design is completed with the state's motto, Louisiana, Purchase, 1803, commemorating the historic Louisiana Purchase that nearly doubled the size of the United States. While the design itself is captivating, what makes certain Louisiana quarters exceptionally valuable are specific minting errors that transformed ordinary quarters into coveted collector's items. The most famous of these is the off-center curved clip error. During the minting process, coin blanks are punched from large sheets of metal. Occasionally, these punches overlap or miss their mark, creating blanks with missing sections. When these irregular blanks are struck with the coin design, the result is a quarter with a distinctive curved missing portion, hence the term curved clip. The Louisiana quarters with this error are particularly striking, as the curved clip often intersects with significant design elements. In the most valuable examples, the clip affects either the pelican or the state outline, creating a visually dramatic effect that collectors find irresistible. Depending on the size and position of the clip, these error coins can command anywhere from $50 to several $100s, with the most dramatic examples selling for $800 or more. But the curved clip isn't the only error that makes Louisiana quarters valuable. Perhaps even more sought after is the double die reverse variety. This error occurs during the die-making process when the die receives multiple impressions that are slightly offset from one another. The result is a coin with doubling visible on certain design elements, typically most noticeable in the lettering and in the fine details of the pelican's wings. Under magnification, you can clearly see that portions of the design appear to have a shadow or echo. The Louisiana double die reverse quarters are among the most valuable modern error coins, with uncirculated specimens routinely selling for $200 to $400. The finest known examples, graded MS-67 or higher, have fetched upwards of $2,500 at specialized numismatic auctions. What makes these particularly exciting for collectors is that new varieties continue to be discovered as people scrutinize their coins more carefully. At least 3 different double die varieties have been documented, each with slightly different characteristics and varying degrees of doubling. Adding to the Louisiana quarters mystique is a fascinating production anomaly that occurred at the Philadelphia Mint. During one production run, a die crack developed that created what collectors now call the broken-wing pelican variety. On these coins, a distinctive line appears through the pelican's wing, giving the appearance that the bird has suffered an injury. While not technically an error, die cracks are considered a natural part of the minting process. This variety has captured collectors' imaginations and typically commands a premium of $30 to $75 depending on condition. What makes the story of the Louisiana quarter errors particularly compelling is the context in which they occurred. By 2002, the state quarters program was in full swing, with production running at an extraordinary pace to meet both circulation needs and collector demand. The Philadelphia Mint alone produced over 362 million Louisiana quarters, with another 197 million struck at the Denver Mint. This high-volume production environment created perfect conditions for errors to occur and slip through quality control processes. The most captivating aspect of valuable Louisiana quarters is their accessibility. Unlike ancient coins locked away in museums or ultra-rare specimens that trade only among wealthy collectors, these quarters are democratic treasures. Anyone with patience and a good eye can potentially find one. There are numerous accounts of collectors discovering valuable Louisiana-era quarters in bank rolls, loose change, or even forgotten collections inherited from relatives. One particularly remarkable story involves a Louisiana postal worker who, having read about the double die reverse variety, began checking quarters from the post office vending machine during his breaks. After several months of diligent searching, he discovered a pristine example with dramatic doubling. The coin was later certified MS-66 by PCGS and sold for $1,800, an impressive return on a 25-cent investment. For those hoping to identify valuable Louisiana quarters in their own collections, there are several key areas to examine. On potential double die reverse specimens, focus on the lettering in Louisiana and the fine details of the pelican. The doubling is typically most evident in the serif details of the letters and in the feather definition. For curved clip errors, examine the coin's edge for any smooth, curved portions that interrupt the normal reading, the ridges around the coin's circumference. A genuine curved clip will have a distinctive smooth edge that follows a perfect arc. Condition plays a crucial role in determining the value of Louisiana quarter errors. Circulated examples still command significant premiums, but specimens in mint state condition are substantially more valuable. Coins graded MS-65 or higher, on the 70-point Sheldon scale used by professional grading services, represent the upper echelon of quality and command the highest prices. Preservation of original mint luster is particularly important for these modern issues. The Louisiana quarter also holds cultural significance beyond its monetary value. It celebrates one of the most consequential land acquisitions in American history, the Louisiana Purchase, which added territories that would eventually become all or part of 15 states. This historical connection gives the coin added meaning, especially for collectors interested in American history. The quarter's design, with its pelican and musical motifs, beautifully captures Louisiana's unique cultural heritage and natural beauty. There's an intriguing market dynamic at play with Louisiana quarter errors that makes them particularly attractive to collectors. Unlike some other numismatic rarities that have been extensively studied and catalogued for decades, the full range of Louisiana quarter errors is still being documented. This creates an opportunity for knowledgeable collectors to potentially discover new varieties or previously unrecognized error types. The thrill of potentially making such a discovery adds an exciting dimension to collecting these quarters. For beginning collectors interested in Louisiana quarter errors, several resources are available to help identify valuable specimens. Major coin publications regularly feature articles on state quarter varieties, and online forums provide communities where collectors can share information and images. The most serious collectors typically invest in high-quality magnification tools and reference material specific to modern mint errors. With these resources and a bit of patience, anyone can participate in the hunt for these elusive treasures. As we approach the 25-year mark since the state quarters program began, Louisiana quarters with significant errors are becoming increasingly difficult to find in circulation. Many have been removed by collectors, while others have been lost or damaged over time. This growing scarcity suggests that values for well-preserved examples may continue to appreciate in the coming years. For those fortunate enough to possess these coins, they represent not just financial value but a tangible connection to a fascinating moment in American numismatic history.